Hello everyone, this is Sudeep welcoming you all with a very big heart to today's lecture, which is all about form classes in linguistics. So in today's lesson, we are going to be talking about what a class is and how is important for a linguist to study form classes in a lexical level. So without further delay, let's get straight into the video. In linguistics, we observe how parts of language behaves. So when we find a set of words that all behave similarly, we can group them into a category. To be more specific, like a syntactic category. So you might have learned about some of these categories in your lower class. We call it as parts of speech. So now I'm going to give an overview of the behavior of the biggest categories. So you have probably learned that about nouns. What is a noun? A noun is a word that describes a person, place, or thing. But when we are studying morphology and syntax, we categorize nouns according to their behavior and not according to their meaning. So there are two elements to a word's behavior, and here a two question arises. The first one is what inflectional morphemes does the word take, and the second one is what is the word's syntactic distribution. So in other words, what position does it occupy in a sentence? So what behavior can we observe that allows us to categorize words as nouns? So when we look at the inflectional morphology, we observe that most nouns in English have a singular form and also a plural form. For example, tree, trees, book, books, song, songs, idea, ideas, goal, goals, etc. So in English, we uses a plural morpheme on a noun to indicate that there is something more than one of something. But there is a subcategory of nouns that don't have plural forms. For example, there are mass nouns like rice, water, money, oxygen, etc. They refer to things that aren't really countable, so the nouns don't get pluralized. Noun refers to abstract things like justice, beauty, happiness. These abstract nouns cannot be seen or touched, so they behave like mass nouns also. If they don't have plural form, why do we group them into the large category of nouns? It's because their syntactic distribution behaves like that of a countable noun. So most English nouns, either singular, plural, or mass, they can appear in the phrase ending with the article called the. So we write like the trees, the tree, the book, the books, the song, the songs, the idea, the ideas, the goals, etc. So article the comes before a noun. In their syntactic distribution, pronouns like I, me, you, we, us, they, them, he, him, she, her, it, these kind of pronouns, they do their job that noun phrases do. A pronoun rarely appears with the article the, but it can replace the entire noun phrase. For example, the woman read the book. So this sentence is grammatically correct. Now look at the next sentence. The she read the book. Is this grammatically correct? No. An article the, it should not come before the noun. In essentials of linguistics, we group pronouns into a large category of nouns, remembering that they are a special place. Verbs behave differently to nouns. So coming to the verb, morphologically, verbs have a past tense form and a progressive form. For a few verbs, the past tense form is spelled or pronounced the same as the bare form. For example, sing, sang, singing. So here the past tense form is sang and the progressive form is singing. We tend to use the progressive form ending with the ing. It's singing and it's actually a gerund. Read, R-E-A-D, read, and read, R-E-A-D, read. Both have same spellings, but they are different in pronunciation. Set and set. Set, in bare form it is set, and in also the past tense form it is also set, and in progressive form it is setting. So for few verbs, the past tense form is spelled or pronounced the same as the bare form. Now coming to the adjectives part. So adjectives appear in a couple of predictable positions. So one is between article called the and a noun. For example, the red car, the clever students, the unusual song, the delicious meal. So where does the adjective take place here? The adjective comes between the article the and the noun. So most of the adjectives are always placed before the noun. The other is following any of the forms of the verb be. The students are clever, the song is unusual, the meal was delicious. So many adjectives can be intensified with the word very or more. We tend to say like very clever. He is very clever. Usually we say he is clever, but to intensify the meaning we say he is very clever. The meal is very delicious. It is more unusual thing. So we use very and more to intensify a thing. And some adjectives, but not all the adjectives, they have comparative and superlative forms. For example, red, redder, reddest, smart, smarter, smartest, etc. And these behavior of adverbs is a little more difficult to observe. Unlike adjectives, adverbs they don't have comparative or superlative form, but like adjectives they can be intensified with very or more. So like I said, he ran very quickly, he acts very cleverly. So to intensify it, the adverb we also use very and more to an adverb also. So the above examples illustrate that many adverbs are derived from affixing ly to an adjective, but there are also many adverbs that are not derived this way, and some also common English words that have the ly affix that aren't adverbs but adjectives, like friendly, lonely, lovely, etc. So the affix is not a reliable clue. The syntactic distribution of adverbs is also a little slippery. Adverbs can precede or follow verbs or verb phrases to provide information about the verb. For example, the children sang beautiful. The students complained loudly about the pop quiz. They had just arrived when the fire alarm rang. The visitors will arrive tomorrow. And here the adverbs can precede adjectives or other adverbs to provide information about the adjective or adverb. For example, the meal is surprisingly tasty. An extremely expensive car drove. The children finished their homework remarkably quickly. Because their behavior is more variable than that of words in other open class categories, adverbs can be a challenge to identify. The three syntactic categories of nouns, verbs, and adjectives are called open class categories. So these categories are considered open because when new words gets added to the language, they are almost always in one of these three categories. So the categories are open to new members. These categories are sometimes also called lexical categories or content words because these categories are the ones that do most of the lexical semantic work in a sentence. So they convey most of the meaning of a sentence. So concludingly, the semantic content of the words from other categories like the, of, in, that, etc. it's not as obvious as the semantic words from lexical categories. So that's all we have for today, and I hope you all enjoy the video. If possible, I'll see you in next video. Until then, this is Sudeep signing off. If you want more videos, please like, comment, share and subscribe to the channel.